All right, good morning, everyone. I am waiting on Joel. Joel's having some technical difficulties, and Lauren's running a little bit late. She had to go help a friend who had a flat tire, so she's running a little late. So I figured I'll just start on time. But good morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I see Flavio's here. Hold on, Joel's trying to pop back in. Hold on. Let's see if this works. Better? Seems better. I don't know.
Is it any better? No.
Yeah, seems better. All right, so I told everyone Joe's late as usual, but thanks for being here. Lauren is running late, like I said. So yeah, let's just kind of dig into it, or maybe Joe, fill us in. What you been up to? It's been a while since you've been on, man.
Yeah, I just been just grinding, man. Just working on some AI stuff for my CRM and operating system, trying to make some things more efficient with the business. But yeah, man, just going. I've been seeing a lot of people, from starting to make moves on multifamily stuff.
What do you
I've
mean
been
in
on the
your
side,
area or in general?
like in the Midwest, just in general. Yeah.
All
So
right,
it's been
cool.
been interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been a while. That glad we can catch up. I do have surgery today, but I'll still be going live the rest of the week. Today's gonna be my surgery day. We'll see how that goes. Hey, Sarah, thanks for tuning in. But yeah, we're gonna kind of dig into a topic that we've discussed kind of frequently in the past few years. But really, I think I want to get back to talking about kind of financial literacy and how what I'm seeing, even with my son growing up and talking to him, but how we're kind of led down this path of looking at money and talking about money and whatnot, and even the education side of things. And I know you kind of have a strong feeling on this too, especially being on the lending side and what you're seeing people and even talking to them. Do you see it as a big problem out there when people bring, they're coming to you for loans and whatnot and just trying to discuss this topic with them?
Yeah, I do. And there's kind of two different pieces of the puzzle that I think are important. One, I mean, you got people that are in their 20s and 30s that just don't even have a dream or even a thought of buying a home. Whereas 5 years ago, before COVID, I mean, it was more mainstream to have a desire to buy a home. And there's a lot that goes into that. And then two, I mean, yeah, people coming to me wanting to buy a home and just have so much debt. I mean, I have this vision of seeing a credit report with over $200,000 of student loan debt, and then that person in their current job, maybe 3, 4, 5 years out of college, making barely 50K, and the math is just not math. Like that, this just does not stack up to be able to get ahead. And you got 200K of student debt. I mean, that's just one example, but it's tight, and you got cost of living that's gone up the last 5 years coming out of COVID. So, these are some extremes, but yeah, it's things are different than they were before COVID for sure.
What do you think is the biggest maybe reason for all of this? Like, I have my own opinions on it, but do you think it's the education system? Do you think it's just how we're raised, or where do you stand on that?
Well, you got things in life changing so fast, right? Different industries are changing, technology is changing. Now we're into this AI revolution changing. So you have just things changing so fast. And yeah, the education system is obviously very slow and I think behind the times in terms of what needs to be taught. And when you talk about, financial literacy in this, lane, the whole balancing checkbooks and budgeting, like these are all the typical types of conversations. But I mean, knowing how to market, knowing how to brand, knowing how to sell, like all these like skills that are so important to be able to be successful in the workplace. We don't learn these basic skills in high school and college, and those are the things I think we need to be focusing more on as time evolves.
Yeah, absolutely. I think especially when talking to people in the work, my firehouse and whatnot, is all of them are thinking like I can earn more, right? I can work more overtime and I can just make more money and things will be things will be solved from there, right? And as you probably know, that's usually not the case, right? People work more, they make more money, and then their living habits increase, right? So I think that's the biggest
Mhm.
thing is not understanding how even the investing side and how to build wealth, and like you're saying, marketing, starting a business, or just how to make more money in a sense from not just your paycheck anymore. And I see a lot of people promoting that on social media now. Like even a lot of folks talking about how your 9 to 5 is just a paycheck, right? And now you got to figure out how to do these other things to get to reach this financial freedom that you're striving for. But like you said too, I think it's just that mindset, right? You don't people aren't out there looking to like I want to own a home anymore. I want to have this freedom, right? They're already expecting. I think I see a lot of people giving up almost as if like I'm going to work 50 years anyways, right? So why don't I enjoy it now?
Mhm.
And the plan is just to work 50 years.
Yeah, I mean, I was having a conversation with somebody over the weekend, and he's a doctor, and he makes good money, but we frequent a local establishment here in St. Louis with some beers, and it's right across the street from a very nice apartment complex, and people paying $2,500 a month. It's like, okay, well, if you can spend 2,500 a month, you can probably be planning also towards you know buying a home. Work, I mean, that's a 1 bedroom apartment. I mean, so I think the belief is the biggest thing in my opinion. I don't think it's possible, so I'm just going to be okay with my nice apartment. It's going to look well, do well, have friends over or whatever. But you're not getting anywhere. You're literally just spinning your wheels.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is I think people associate income with wealth, right? They think the more money they're making at their job or whatever job they have, that's how you decide what wealth is. Yeah, I think what to Sarah's point, I think all the uncertainty in the world right now has people lost. And I think loss is one way to look at it, but it's also people are just afraid to make moves. And that goes back to the whole not being, I guess, maybe taught about financial education, right? So a lot of people are just sitting on the sidelines, like you're saying, they're lost, they're confused, they don't know where to put their money, they don't know what actions to take. Whereas people that have been investing or have been doing this for a while, right, they are kind of chomping at the bits, ready to make some moves because they see all the opportunities out there. Let's see what else we got. Oh, everyone also want to remind everyone go check out Joe's YouTube channel, Lending for Entrepreneurs. He has some big things coming in the pipeline, so stay tuned for that. He has things he's working on. Let's see. Sarah says, right. So true. Yeah, I think that's the thing, right? And I think it's a lot of it is we people are afraid out there, right? They just don't know where to put their money with so much volatility and there's so much uncertainty. Jovi says, you guys are right on topic. People don't understand and hear from the news and doomers that they won't get anywhere. Yeah. And that's part of it too, right? I think that's what they want, right? They want you in this kind of heading down this path to where you are in debt or you have all these bills, and now you are easier to kind of keep under control in some sense, right? And Flavio, yes, laziness is a big reason to it, right? I think that's something.
Yeah. Well, to Joe's point about financial education, I mean, so when we talk about this topic, and then your son is what, 10, 9?
He turns 10 this week.
My kids are gonna turn 6 shortly. So I'm just thinking, well, what do I want my kids? What do you want your kids to know and understand to be able to have financial literacy, financial education? What are some of the things that you would want to be able to instill in your son as he gets older, teenager, college? What are the things that stand out that you want to be able to pass on?
The biggest thing is just kind of understanding about money, though, right? Like I think to Joe's point is that we were never taught that. We were just taught you get a job, you get a good paying job, you go to school, and you'll be set, right? And I think for me, the biggest thing is I want my son to understand there's so many opportunities out there, and getting a paycheck is only one way to make money, right? So, and then it goes down to like even so we just came back from Japan, and it was a good way to have him see like the cost of living is so much different there. I mean, people like Mikey, who's probably looking at you know living there with the wife when he gets married, it's so much cheaper, right? But you use the American money, you make your cash flowing in America, and you're taking that money over there, and now you're just living free, right? But I'm trying to show my son, like, okay, like if you do these certain things, you work hard, you can be financially free in 10 years after you graduate high school, right? But it's just understanding not spending your money. So like, even in Japan, it's like he wants to buy these toys or video games. And I'm like, well, we're there. So, and it's his birthday coming. But anyways, just kind of trying to teach him like, hey, how can you create something that's going to pay for these things that you want, right? So like even we're on this trip, but yet like the rental income is basically paying for this trip that we're on, right? So it's trying to relate things like that to him so he can see like how, if I buy this toy now or a video game, then my money's gone. Whereas if I create something to pay for it, then I get the game, but yet I didn't spend my own money to get it in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Yep, Sarah agrees. If you spend all your income each month on BS, then you don't have wealth. Yeah, and I'm sure Joe sees that with a lot of applicants that come through his pipeline looking for loans and mortgages. Stan says, yeah, financial literacy isn't taught at school or most homes, and it's also not a course required in most colleges. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Joe says, teach my kids about how money works, how to make more money, and use debt correctly and the opportunities there are. Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's the big thing too, right? Is a lot of us probably growing up, we were taught like debt is bad, right? Like that is, you want to stay away from debt. And we realize that, yeah, of course there's good and bad, and it can be, if not used the right way, it could really hurt you in the long run, right? So I'm sure, like you were talking about earlier, right, that's probably what you see quite often, right? People don't understand the debt or what kind of debt they're into, right?
Yeah, for sure. And we talked about that too on one of the previous lives. I forget the topic, but anyway, I mean, the typical debt, credit cards, personal loans, barely getting by. But that person, and I talk about this in some of my previous content, that person making 40 grand a year, barely getting by, nothing to cut in their budget. If you can generate some extra income, maybe $1,000 a month doing an extra job or a side business, just put that money straight into savings. And again, let's say that you wanted to be able to build a portfolio of real estate, buy that starter home for 150K. By default, you're going to have, a whole, slew of ready renters to rent some rooms for you. This whole economy is built on a whole generation of renters. So if you can get to 25, 27, 28 and be able to get financing for a home, that's one type of debt that's going to help you build wealth. Because again, when you buy a house and you have that mortgage financing, you control the entire asset with only putting down 3 or 5%, or maybe even 0%. So that leverage is there. So that debt, yeah, that's a tool. And over time, your renters pay down your mortgage, appreciation and values go up. So yeah, but like we talk about all the time, it's also a slow growth, that 3 to 4% per year.
Joe V says my kids want to buy Fortnite V-Bucks. Drives me nuts. Sarah says, yeah, same in the Philippines. You can live like a king off of 5,000 per month. That is a lot, 5,000. I actually saw someone do an Instagram, this female, she moved to Japan, and even Mikey said that's kind of crazy what she posted, but she showed out her budget, and it was like $1,000 a month she was living off of. And yeah, it's insane. Flavio says most people are looking for the easiest and shortest way to invest in real estate, but that way does not exist. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the one thing too. I think people don't realize that it does take 5 to 10 years to really get the ball rolling, right? So, and most people quit by then. I think and a lot of people in our community, they realize that, like they said, the first 5 years suck. You take some lumps. It takes time to get that snowball effect. So, but most people are looking for that easy way, right? And that's why a lot of people are not doing it. Joe V says, when no one teaches you about that, that's how credit cards get kids at 18 and start drowning in debt. Same with student loans. Go to college, but don't consider the degree you're getting. Yeah. Yeah. So I think I told Joe offline before we started, I heard someone talking about this, and they were saying like the American dream, or what people were doing before, where you work this job, maybe it's not your passion, but you work this job for 30 years, you make good money, and then you don't have to worry about money after that. But now the dream, or what the path people's following, is work something you're passionate about. Maybe you're not making a lot of money, but you're never going to be able to retire now, right? And that's kind of what I'm seeing out there. There's people like, oh, I'm just gonna do what I want. This is where my passion is, but it doesn't make a lot of money, and I'll figure it out later. And then it's like, all right, now you just have no plans for financial freedom, right? You're just gonna work forever, and I think that's what a lot of people are looking at right now, right? Um, oh, okay, Sarah's like a king. She's saying with daily driver and staff in here. Okay, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, that's a big difference. Stan would know. World Traveler Stan, if he's still here, he can probably agree to that.
Yeah.
What else are you seeing on the lending side? Like, because like I said, you're probably closer to it from people bringing their finances to you. And have you, like you said, have you seen a big difference from like maybe COVID, beginning of COVID to now, like people's financial situations?
Well, one of the big stats that I talk about a lot is the average age of a first time home buyer. It was in the 28, 29 range pre COVID. And then now we're talking 38, 39. And you've got less transactions that are happening. Prices are high, rates are high. So affordability is just out of whack. So, I mean, the ability to buy a house is just not even possible for so many people. So debts are high. I mean, there's so many people in my industry, realtors, appraisers, people in title, people that are struggling to pay their just to survive. And I don't think enough people are talking about that across the board in terms of many people in the workforce that people are just barely getting by and just praying and hoping that things get better and living off of credit cards, living off of personal loans. And so, yeah, I mean, people are struggling. I see a lot of that. And then at the same time, there are people that are out there making moves, people that have good W-2 jobs, that have the savings built up, that are making moves and buying multifamily. You've got this, kind of period of time in the last couple of years where the expectations of buyers and sellers on price point has been so far off and no side has been giving in. And so you've got a lot of just stagnation and just the market's just frozen. Where you have houses going on the market and then coming off the market because they're not selling for the prices that they want. I am seeing some sellers start to come down on price though, or be more flexible on terms.
Joe V says, yes, fuck your passion. You have responsibilities in life. And Sarah agrees. You do the work. Yeah. And then, see, I knew it. Stan would know. He says 5,000 a month in Philippines is substantial. It's enough to put you inside the top 10% of income in the country. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Japan was amazing. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was humid, but it was a lot of fun. So, I think that's the kind of things that I definitely want to do a lot more with my son. Like I said, I think it's just that type of education, right? Seeing the world, right? So, school is great. You can learn a lot from school, but at the same time, I think you learn a lot more just being out there. And I saw my son kind of just feels like he just grew up in like 2 weeks. Um, what's
What's the
one? Oh, go ahead.
what's the dollar conversion there?
Shoot, I don't know what it is at this very moment. Hey, what's up, Josh? Hey, Josh. Sarah's here in the chat. I know you guys connected. Mark, Josh, if you can, how's the VA update going? If you have any update on that. Yeah, I'm not sure what the exchange rate is right now, but yeah, it's definitely things are a lot cheaper. Converting and you don't realize like, man, like we went out to sushi and we ate and it's like it seems like a lot because you get the bill and whatever is maybe it's like 6 or 10,000 yen or whatever. So you're like in your head like 10,000 yen, and then you calculate it or whatever, it comes out to like $60 or something. And you're like, holy shit, like this is super affordable here. And then and they're even paying foreigners to come live there, find jobs, create businesses, and on all the outskirts, right? These smaller little communities because the population is declining there, right? So they're trying to
Yeah.
incentivize people to move there. So um, what's one financial habit you think guarantees someone will stay broke? Do you
Ooh,
have one?
I mean, eating out. I mean, I know people that eat out every meal and have no savings.
Interesting. Okay. I think not really like yeah, I think just buying cars, new cars, or new cars, or or always upgrading to the new car or new vehicle. I think that's something that really keeps people in the rat race, and they don't really realize it because you're looking
Mhm.
at it like a payment, right? And I think that's one thing. Yeah, I think if you can eliminate, of course, housing expense, but I mean, if you can eliminate that car payment,
Yeah,
which most people are just constantly trading up for the new one, right?
yeah.
Yeah, Sarah says, oh, Flavio says, for my kids, it will be more difficult. And I'm teaching them how money work and adding them to a credit card so they can, yep. So, ooh, so that was a touchy subject with Joel, right? Adding your
Uh
kids
huh.
to your credit card before 18 and having them build their credit score as an authorized user on your account. So, do you want to kind of give your input again on that, Joel, so people can know your stance on that?
Yeah, yeah. And I, looking back on this, I literally came across a situation just like this, talking to a 19-year-old who wanted to buy a house. So I'll come back to that in a second. But the 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 thought of putting your child on your credit cards as authorized user, it's a great idea. Help them build scores. My take on it was, well, when you're 19, 20, you're probably not going to be buying a house. So going through the process of seeing your scores, go from 490 to 500 to 550 to 600, and seeing the growth and the wins and the gains of you paying your bills on time and seeing the fruits of your labor. To me, that is worthwhile, to be able to see that progress and to know that you did that on your own versus, okay, your first credit score you see is 720 because you've been as an authorized user. So my take was, hey, the process I think is impactful. So that way you appreciate the process. And, we went back and forth, obviously, different takes. And, this is probably about 2 weeks ago, talking to a 19-year-old who's engaged, who's got a job and got good savings, and he wanted to buy a house, and he has literally no credit, no accounts, no credit cards, no authorized user, nothing. And he can't do it. He's able to do it, but he can't because he doesn't have the credit and doesn't have any payments he's making on his own. Because there's a thing called a manual underwrite where we'll look at non-traditional trade lines like paying your auto insurance, paying your phone bill, paying your rent. We can actually take those as to build a credit history and help somebody get qualified for a home loan. But this person had nothing. Literally, they were just paying their parents, which doesn't count.
So you're saying your stance has changed.
I'm saying that there's always the exception to the rule.
uh, yeah, I like I said, there's no right or wrong, but I definitely see like why you don't want to give them that advantage to some extent. Like, yeah, you want to make them earn it and work for it, but at the same time, I think providing that opportunity for them to build a credit score that they can take advantage of, like you're saying, this individual is 19 and they have, but now let's say they don't purchase this home and now they're just like, oh, I'm just gonna wait and I'm gonna buy the new truck now because I'm just waiting, right? So I think
Yeah.
that's kind of also how we're set up for failure in a sense, right? They don't allow you to get into that home ownership at right when you graduate, in a sense, right, where you have no debt, you don't have a family, you don't have kids, where it would make more sense for you to get on it when you don't have these other obstacles, or not obstacles, but commitments in life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sarah says, yeah, traveling with our kids has been the absolute best inheritance we've ever given them. Yeah, totally agree. I mean, that's what I definitely want to do a lot more of. Jovi says, where I'm at in life, it's hard. I've learned I need to pivot, but responsibilities of work, kids, etc. Yes, are there. Want to teach them with travel with market, it's not easy to, yeah. That is the one thing, really. And that's why I think it's really comes down to, people are sometimes they want to buy the big home and the nice cars, and then they're trading that off for the travel experiences, right? So like I said, there's no right or wrong. Maybe that's your thing, having that big home and maybe you are spending the quality time together, but that's some ways where I'm looking at, well, yeah, I don't need this big home anymore, and let's do the travel experiences and whatnot. Stan says, yeah, the tiny ramen shops in Japan are incredible. I had some of the best ramen in a hole in the wall spot for under $10. Yeah. Yeah. Now I have all these in Japanese Instagram, like travel to Tokyo, all these Osaka videos that pop across my feed now all over the place. Now I gotta save them all. Like, oh, I gotta have this tip. I want to have this restaurant next time I go to. So yeah, it was a lot of fun though. He wants to go to Okinawa next year, my son. So we'll see.
Nice. What's
Um,
one thing that they don't have that they probably should have over there?
oh, see, not that they don't have it. Oh well, I mean they don't have trash cans, right? I mean, I don't know if you're aware of that. Ever since the bombing, the subway in the trash can, the rubbish can. I forget what year that was. There's no you. So you pretty much have to be prepared to carry your trash. So have like a bag, like a plastic bag, but you gotta, or when you get back to the hotel, right? But yeah, out on the streets, out in public, you don't find any, and that's because like that's where the bombing was, and I figured that for safety reasons they decided to just eliminate all of that. But what I did notice, and maybe it was just so humid that the vending machines and things like that don't keep up with it, but they don't they don't have they don't for one, they don't have like Diet Coke and stuff in the vending machine, or nobody sells Diet Coke there. Like they don't really sell diet drinks. It's all
Oh,
just
so regular Coke, but not diet.
yeah, well, they do have the Coke Zero, but they don't have like I mean
Oh.
it was super hard. It's almost impossible to find Diet Coke, and they don't nothing is like super cold. Like you buy it from the vending machine, and I mean it's chilled, but it's not like cold, and it's so humid. You're like, oh man, those would be my two gripes. Those would be my gripes right there.
So
Uh,
I have this like dream in the back of my brain of opening up ice cream shops somewhere where it's warm. You ever had ice cream where they like take liquid nitrogen and then pour it into the cream and make the ice cream like right in front of you?
yeah, yeah,
I want
yeah. I
to.
haven't seen it in a while, but yeah, they used to have those places. Yeah.
Nope. Okay. I
Uh,
want to someday when I'm build some of those someday.
yeah, do it, man.
Someday.
Um, Sarah Garrett says, yeah, Joe, eating out, and I hate car. Yeah, will still drive 10 to 20-year-old cars. Yeah. So Josh says, yeah, making your own food costs a lot too, especially if making everything from scratch. Yeah. So that's kind of a dilemma too, right? I can see where making your own food is better for you and maybe saves you some money too, but to me it's also a a trade-off, right? So I think there has to be some of that balance there. Like I think like cooking for yourself, is that makes sense, you think, for one person? I don't know.
I
That's the
mean,
struggle I'm sometimes
yeah,
with.
like the my son came home from school one day thinking said, "Daddy, I want Domino's pizza stuffed crust." So we did it on a Friday, movie night, whatever, and it's like $15. It's like $9.99 for a medium, and then a $5 surcharge for the stuffed crust. I'm like, this is crazy. So we ended up going to Aldi's and getting the dough and some cheese sticks and the sauce. And if you're making one, yeah, it's not that cost effective. But like with me and then two kids, we made a couple, and so we made 3 pizzas for the same cost of one. So if you're making multiples, I mean, typically will think work in your favor.
Is that the day you vented and went shirtless on your
No, that was a different
Instagram?
day. That was a different day.
Uh oh, Sarah. Hey, Jacek is here. Haven't seen him in a while. Hey, Hugo's here. What's up, man? Thanks, Hugo, for the $2 super chatter.
Stay
Whatever.
Wang, what's up? What's up, Hugo?
Yes, Flavio, Diet Coke. I don't like regular Coke. Regular Coke is too sweet. Um, so Stan says, there's a bunch of local drinks in those machines. Oh, maybe I should have tried to look something up. Yeah, Sarah's all about football right now. She's super busy. She says, 5-hour football practice. What time? Oh, it's 11 o'clock over there. Dang, what time do you guys start at in Georgia for football? Yeah, see, so Flavio said cooking for one person not worth it.
Did you get a super chat? Is that real?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what that is. $2 something. I don't know if that's a super chat. Where did his question go? Joe, tell us more. Oh, tell us more about the Trump administration now pushing for rent payments to count towards qualifying for a mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I I have somebody that I couldn't get approved for a loan because they had a job history that was a little choppy. They had multiple jobs, a little bit of a gap of employment, and they didn't fit the requirements, right? And if you can pay your rent on time, in theory, you should be able to qualify for a mortgage. If you have a history of paying rent on time at a certain dollar amount, let's just say $2,000. And if you are looking to buy a house, let's say that the mortgage payment is lower at $1,800, like that should be able to go into the qualifying process. But what Stay Winning is talking about is having your rent payments come onto your credit report as part of the overall credit scoring process, which it could be a good thing, but it could also be a bad thing. I don't know, because if you don't keep up with your rent, if you're late on your rent, I mean, then that could actually take you down or hurt your scores. But in general, if you pay your rent on time and they report it, that goes into your credit scoring algorithm, helps boost your scores, and could be a good thing and help people qualify that may not all otherwise have qualified for a mortgage. So I think in general, it could be a very good thing overall.
Yeah, I think as a landlord, it's a great thing, right? You're incentivizing your tenants to be on time with their payments because there is benefits in a sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's always going to be those tenants that doesn't matter to them, right? So, I have this one tenant. I didn't even raise her rent this year. I just raised her late payment. So, I told her, hey, you can save a lot of money because she pays late every month. I mean, she pays the late fee. But so this year I said, I'm not going to raise your rent. I'm just going to increase the late fee to hopefully incentivize you to pay on time.
Yeah.
She pays late every month.
Still pays late?
I mean, she pays the late fee too, but I mean, she still pays. But I'm like, hey, I might as well just raise your rent then. I mean, you're paying like $150 extra a month in late fees. But yeah, it is what it is. I mean, she pays every month. For sure, I won't report my tenants late. From Hugo. Jacek says, nice. I'm planning to go there next year with my boys. Where in Japan are you planning to travel to, or just kind of all over? If you're still here. Lauren's gonna jump on soon, she said. So if anyone doesn't know, Lauren Elaine was supposed to be here. She had to go help her friend. A friend had a flat tire, so she's running a little late. Lauren, I'll kind of fill everyone in. She sold her equestrian farm in Florida. And she's been traveling. She always travels to Bali and, like a butterfly, wherever the wind takes her. But she bought a 5-unit she's from Idaho, but she bought a 5-unit in Boise, Idaho, and is going to be converting it to a 10-unit boutique hotel over the next year or so. So when she jumps on, maybe she can fill people in more. But she's definitely one that got her, I think, her money right. I mean, she's, I don't know what she is. She's in her early 30s, maybe mid 30s, but
yeah, I think early 30s.
But yeah, she's got her head on straight, and she's doing well for herself. But I think there she is. Speaking of her.
Speaking of me, hopefully all good things.
Of course. I said, I kind of filled everyone in what you're working on. You sold your equestrian farm. You're looking to convert a 5-unit into a 10-unit boutique hotel in Boise, Idaho. And yeah, and we've been talking about kind of traveling, so which is right up your alley too, but also just financial freedom and financial literacy, but also how like understanding financial education and whatnot probably allows you to travel the way you do, right? Kind of the money habits you have and how you can kind of live free, right? So maybe you can touch on that a little bit. So where have you traveled recently, and how are you paying for all of that then?
Where have I traveled recently? Where haven't I traveled recently? I went to Japan. You went to Japan also.
Yeah.
I was in Bali for a good portion of last year and purchased the boutique hotel in while I was over there. But I mean, I feel like we touched a little bit on it last time about, like how I posted about buying a used vehicle. Like I try to keep my monthly expenses low, which I feel like is part of the financial literacy, is not letting your lifestyle creep up as you make more money on things that aren't increasing the value of your life in the way that you want to. So I think clear goal setting on like, what would you do if you had financial independence, and then try and change your money habits to align with those goals. Because a lot of times I think we all spend money frivolously on things that we don't actually want or aren't getting us to our goals or where we want to be. But if we don't have like a clear outline of where we're going, then we kind of just like spend or have bad habits, and we don't realize that it's detracting from where we're trying to go.
So me and Joe, definitely a lot older than you, and we made a lot of, I think, financial mistakes and had bad habits. Were you always kind of had your head on straight like this and had your money situation all figured out at a young age?
Pretty young. I mean, when I was a kid, I was like a saver. Like I would take the trash out for my neighbor and he would give me like 75 cents and I would like save that money, and I'd find like coins on the ground or whatever, and I put it in my piggy bank, and I would have that piggy bank for years. So I've always been like a saver, but I actually don't think that is beneficial to being an investor. So I had to like break that like lack mindset almost of like save your money, don't spend your money. And so I do think that there was a point where I started to educate myself on how to spend money wisely and how to grow your money or invest it into something else that's going to grow.
I think we touched on it the other week also, and I think Joe saw your post or reel also. So we're talking about what's kind of that one financial habit that can hold people back, and I was talking about buying the new car or always upgrading their vehicle. And like I said, you had that post or reel recently about having a certain amount of money or whatever saved up or in your account, and you're looking to buy a vehicle, and I could afford the new, I think it was BMW or something, but you decided to settle for something else, right?
Yeah. I could have bought in cash a brand new vehicle, but then I think about what I could have done with that money, because as soon as you drive a car off the lot, it's depreciating. So I really see vehicles as liabilities, necessary liabilities, but still not an asset. And I'm not where I want to be financially yet in order to be able to be just spending money that I should be investing.
I mean, touching about the car stuff, I think it's definitely more of a guy thing. When you're younger, get the nice car, impress the ladies, go out. But me personally, I was never a car person. I just never really got it. Didn't really care. I picked up my soon-to-be ex-wife. We've been together for 15 years. I was picking her up in a Toyota Corolla, 2010 Toyota, just cruising with my Corolla. It's like a $9,000 car. I was rocking and rolling. But cars, I think it's definitely a guy thing.
Hugo, Stay Winning Pod, or Stay Winning Money now, it says just posted a video on that topic on my channel. Part 2 goes up tomorrow. Hold on, let me push your channel here after this. But Flavio says, Lauren, at what age did you buy your first house and how?
My first house was a primary residence, and I was like 29. But first investment property, I think, was not too long after that, maybe at like 30 or 31. And how? I mean, I saved for a down payment and got a house. But that's where the saving part of me came in handy. Like I had been saving all through, like when I was in college, I worked like 3 jobs and I was good at saving. So by the time I was that age, I did have money for a down payment.
Here's a little wrinkle to it. Josic says, what about if the vehicle is in your company name?
Well, are you still paying the monthly payment? I think as in the name of like tax write-offs, we buy a lot of things that we don't necessarily need. I think it's great if you have a company car and that benefits you because you need to spend the money if you're at that level. But if it's just like, oh, well, I'm going to buy a new car because it's going to be in my company name, you still have to pay that monthly payment. It doesn't change the cash flow aspect of the money.
Yeah. But
your savings is just the tax benefit. So 20%, 30%, whatever your marginal tax rate is at the end of the day, unless you actually need to have a car, which most people do. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, he does have a business. So to like Lauren's point, like, yeah, if you're going to be buying it anyways, then, you might as well take advantage of all the benefits. But those are the type of things, right? So like even just creating a business, and since Jassa, you already have a business, which a lot of people are so, when I was growing up, it's like, oh, you don't want to start a business. You don't want to do that. It's so risky and whatnot. So I think just having that mindset, just to start a business, and then you start learning about all these ways, like the tax breaks or tax loopholes and whatnot. That's how you take advantage of the whole financial kind of education and whatnot. Hugo says 29, also just like a year ago. Congrats, Lauren.
All right,
Hey,
you're
Cody's
redeeming
here.
yourself, Hugo, after that last comment.
Cody's here. So good morning, Big Cody. Sarah says, yeah, she is spot on. My neighbor tells me that all the time. Yeah. Let's see. If someone, go ahead,
I
Joe.
was gonna say, so before you came on, Lauren, Mark was talking about taking his son to Japan and traveling and having it be a good experience for, a young lad, young kid.
Yeah.
And I know when we were doing our live, you were talking about just packing up your stuff and just going across, Europe. And I think you said like 23 or 22 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I do. Wait. I do not want to talk about anything you guys talked about on that live. No, go ahead.
But that experience of traveling, so early on, I'm sure that had an impact on just your philosophy about investing and saving and life and whatnot. But I mean, how old were you when you first traveled overseas, and how would you project that for someone who's 8 or 9 or 10 experiencing a foreign country like that? What do you think that affected?
I think it's honestly the most life-changing thing that you can do. Like, to give your kids or your, any young person the opportunity to experience a culture outside of your own it was the most transformational thing for me. And it changed the way that my brain thought, like the way that I think about money, the way that I think about investing, and the way that I wanted to live my life. So I'm think it's the best thing that you could give, like the best gift you could give to somebody, especially because we're in such a consumerist society, and it's easy to get caught up in just buying gifts for people that will last a short time, but in experience will change their life forever.
Yeah, and if people don't know it, maybe they didn't tune in. So Lauren was on a live with Joe. I forgot the guest name. They're in what?
Norman.
South Africa, but he's in South Africa. Yeah, but they started talking about all kind of
relationship stuff. It's very very important stuff these days.
But I did hear, like I said, in that one, like you said, you just picked up and you kind of traveled, right? And you I felt safe enough, and you kind of just went out there and did it. And I think that's the one. So I forget, did you go to college though, Lauren?
I did, yeah.
Oh, so that was all after, or kind of?
No, that was it was during college. I took a semester off and traveled for 3 months.
If you were to do it again, then would you go to college right out of high school, or would you think you would travel and do that kind of stuff first?
Well, I think I needed probably a year of college to grow up a little bit. But no, I mean, college to me, there's a benefit in being around peers your own age. There's a benefit in the education. Like, I do think that I learned some things in college, more just about how to read, how to study, how to apply critical thinking. And I had great professors at the college that I went to in Santa Barbara, but the education itself, do I use any of it? Not really, but I do have a broader sense of knowledge. So, I don't think I would have ever read an anatomy and physiology book and known as much about anatomy and physiology if I hadn't done that. And then also we got cadavers and we got to cut open dead bodies. And I loved that. It was it was awesome. Like I was just like, oh my God, I'm holding a liver in my hands. And then you learn about the liver, so it was great. I really enjoyed it. I think that college is great for those experiences, but traveling is what got me to like where I am today.
Yes, Sarah says 100% living abroad opened my mind up so much to how other economies work.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Lynn's here. Lynn does investing. I think she just finished up a burr in Gary, Indiana. I think she posted that on her YouTube channel, so go check that out. Hugh, I hear you guys about the traveling with your kids, but have only heard about Europe and Japan. What do you guys think about taking them to third world countries, socialist countries? Oh,
That's great. Also, I mean, third world countries are fantastic because they're truly living a different way, a different time, like a different mindset around like time. Here we have so many like expectations and about the way that people are supposed to behave within society. And I feel like in third world countries, it's much more of like a village mentality. And there's a lot to be learned from that. There's a community aspect. There can be a lot of like culture embedded into it. A rusticness can give you an appreciation for just like a hot shower. When I came back from traveling, I was just like, oh my God, this hot shower, what a gift. I was just like so grateful every day that I got in the shower. You just like those little things you're so grateful for.
Stay Winning says, I think a lot of Gen Z kids today wouldn't be begging for socialism if they realize how good they have it out here and how blessed they are to be born in the US. Yep, I can see that. Hey, Big Val's here, probably driving his truck right now. Jovi says, yep, most people are sheep and just do what they're told. Sarah says, I lived in Iraq for a year. Despite having my life on the line, I'm so thankful. Taught me so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Joe has a question for you, Hugo. And Flavio says, Lauren, I grew up in a funeral home family.
So you've seen cadavers.
All right. So Lauren, how's the progress on, so you're keeping the tenants, I believe you said, right, in the 5 unit until, so not for a year probably, right? Is the boutique hotel probably gonna really get
Yeah,
started?
that'll probably happen in a year. Yeah. We're doing some minor updates, but within a year we'll change it over.
Flavio says, which country will you never go back? Maybe. Is there one, Lauren?
I don't think there's one that I would never go back to. I mean, India was pretty intense. And now I feel like I'm too old for it. I feel like you have to be young to travel in India, and it's rustic, but there's other ways to do India. So, I mean, there's no place I wouldn't go back to.
Joe, we're out then. We can't go.
You're out.
Hey.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hey, Troy's here. Hey, Troy, don't forget to tune in from my channel. I see Troy tuning in from Joel's channel. Oh, all good. Support both sides. Make sure you subscribe to Joel's channel also. Stay Winning says, yeah, Philippines would be a good example. Guatemala, El Salvador.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, Joe. Yeah. Who's there? You left your socks on your kitchen counter. See you later, cupcake.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, Joel's already in the dating game.
Yeah. So Troy says, Lauren, where is your boutique hotel? If you want to talk about that a little bit more.
It is in Idaho, near Sun Valley, Idaho. Yeah, it's like a little ski town.
Stan says, I've traveled to several developing countries. They were great to see and let me develop a lot more gratitude for aspects of living in the U.S. that I took for granted. Yeah, absolutely. Just want to remind everyone, Lauren and Joe, that the ORAT event tickets will be on sale, I think, Friday. So pick up your tickets.
Really? That's so early.
Well, you start, he just,
have to commit already. It's summertime.
No, you don't have to commit, but I'm just saying that tickets are going to be available, I think, Friday for sale. Let's see. Yep, Stan. Good. Go ahead.
While he goes on, I do want to throw something out there because, Mark, you and I were talking about financial literacy, and I kind of went on a little tangent about skills like sales and marketing and branding and now AI, like these types of skills are not being taught, whether it be college or high school, but just the basics of selling and psychology and how it all fits together in terms of, communication. And Hugo, his day job is in sales and he's really good at his job. So I'm just curious, in your role, Hugo, when we say financial literacy, what comes to mind for you? So throw that in the chat if you can down the road.
Let's see. I'm trying to understand. So, Josh says, I also believe that when traveling is going off when traveling is going off, the main path will show the other side of that country, even here in the USA.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know exactly.
I think he's saying if you staying out of the main, like the main, like if you come to Hawaii, if you stay in Waikiki, you don't truly
Yeah.
see.
Yeah,
Like,
there's like
it's
tourist
yeah,
areas.
I
Yeah.
think that, yes, I'm getting close to 1,000. So yeah, if anyone hasn't, go please subscribe. He had them for sale in July last year.
The ORAT.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, that's what he's talking about. And
Mhm.
and he did, and Lauren and Joe still didn't buy tickets when he had them in that far in advance. Uh, oh, Joe says just the skill of talking to people. Yeah. Like I said, talking about my son, that was I enjoyed that a lot too. Seeing him, he just felt more comfortable. I don't know what it was, but even like when we went on the tours with the other families that were there for the school stuff with his elementary, just talking to the other families and parents, because we went to Osaka first and the other families didn't, and he was just talking to them about his experience there and what he liked and all these things, and even just trying to go pay for his snacks, figure out how much yen he has to pay, and even trying to, so like, I don't know if so you probably had that Suica app on your phone, Lauren, when you
Yeah.
travel, but you can't have it for more than one person, right? So you can only use it
Yeah.
for yourself. So him, he still had to try to figure out which ticket to
Mhm.
buy, and that was fun. I think he enjoyed that. So I think that's why I say, oh, it's good that you can't do more than one person on the app to travel with.
Yeah, it's so good for their brains because it's a fun way. You can be in school and you can try and challenge kids, but they're bored. But when they're traveling and they're like having to look at the map and figure out, okay, which trainer, where are we getting on, where are we getting off, how much money do I put in? Like, I really feel like it stretches their brain and develops those critical problem solving skills.
Yeah, even if you, of course you use Google Translate and whatnot, but even trying to figure out what do you want to put into Google Translate to
Yeah.
ask this person or ask this question. So yeah, it was really fun to see.
Mhm.
Yeah, Jovi says, yeah. Oh no, he already answered. Stay Winning says, I agree with Joe on the sales skills. Sales skills are huge for the financial success and just applicable in everyday life and relationships. Yeah.
Mhm.
Jovi says, so on that point, sales skills. I know Joe's not going to be hit his deadline, but you are working on something, right?
Yep.
I'm dying to hear what it is. When
You
is
wanna-
the big reveal?
Yeah. July 1st.
July 1st, August 1st. So I think the big takeaway, first off, is that my counting and calendar skills are not very good. So I might need to go to school for that. But no, the Strive for 25 platform, again, increase income, save 25%, have options to invest, helping people put together an opportunity to generate income streams and building the habit. So working on another launch of a 4-week sprint, helping people generate extra income streams. And so the plan was to launch it on August 1st. It's 4 weeks of 4 webinars and accountability and a wristband that says one stream away. But I got a lot of other things going on right now that if I'm going to do it, I got to do it the right way, and I'm not ready.
Yeah. You want it to be right when you launch it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, stay on the lookout, everyone. I'm sure Joe will let us know when it's going to come out, but he's working on something. So, yeah, be on the lookout for that.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, Jovi says, yep. He says saying don't just go to tourist spots. Yeah. Yeah, Joe, financial literacy. What Hugo says, financial literacy. What comes to mind is people knowing how money works, but most of all, knowing how to make money work for you to build wealth and secure your family's quality of life. Yeah.
Mhm.
So if someone was watching and they haven't commented yet, or they're new here, what would you say they could do in the next 12 months that would really help them maybe break free? What's something they can work on right now?
Joel,
Lauren, yeah.
that's you.
Joe,
That's
Joe,
you.
you first, Joe. Okay.
Work on for 12 months to do what? I didn't catch that.
Like just a habit that they could get rid of that could kind of get them out of this, or help them with their financial education in a sense. What kind of habit can they ditch in the next 12 months? Where would you start them?
Well, the biggest thing for me in my journey and people that I've worked with along the way is understanding that your mind can only think about one thing at a time. And if you're thinking about something positive, then by default you're not thinking about something negative. And so when I talk about income streams, and if you can spend 2 minutes every single day working on trying to build an income stream as an example, that's 2 minutes you're not thinking about spending money. So if you spend 30 minutes on an income stream, that's by default 30 minutes you're not spending on spending money. And so that compounding effect of your time and where you spend your time thinking about things, to me, is just so important and underrated. That if you're thinking about growth and thinking about building something for yourself, that process, those thoughts compound. So my biggest thing that I'm telling people, and again, this is just one lane, is understanding that if you can work on one thing towards a goal, whether it be relationships, income, health, if you can work on that one thing for 30 straight days and not miss any days, that's a skill that you will now have for the rest of your life.
Mhm.
So not necessarily financial literacy related, but just the skill to know that you can do one thing every single day and build a habit. That to me is just so important.
Yeah.
Do you have anything top of mind, Lauren? Or I'm
Well,
gonna.
I was going to say,
Okay.
I completely agree with Joe. They need to read more books, self-education. I'm a big fan of reading books. I just think that every time I've ever grown or expanded myself, it's because I've been reading a lot of books on a certain topic.
So Troy has a question for you, Joe. It says, we had a new investor in the school community looking for lending products for small multifamily. Some of the lenders were mentioned. What would you also recommend for them?
I mean, I don't know those entities enough to say what they do or don't do. Velocity, Convoy, Matt Mortgage. Um,
No, what would you also recommend for this individual looking at lending for a small multifamily product?
well, one thing is that if it's 5 units or more versus 4 units or less, it's going to be a different set of potential investors or products. Um, but the biggest thing is talk to a couple lenders, 2 or 3 lenders, and get fees on paper and get quotes on paper so that you can compare, and then find somebody you trust that can help you figure out what it all means. Because you talk about like DSCR loans, for example, debt service coverage ratio, there's a lot of little bit details that go into those loans. And so some brokers have a lot of fees and then also have prepayment penalties. So if you've got a 3 or a 5 year prepayment penalty, it's important to know that, because if you pay off the loan or refinance within that time period, then you're going to have a substantial fee added to your payoff. So 3%, 5%, et cetera. So biggest thing is shop 2 or 3 lenders and get fees in writing.
Mhm.
I'm not sure
So
if that.
before I'll skip over a few just because Troy so it's less than five. He said less than 5 units. So like if this investor came to you, like how would you probably put them in the best position or kind of best situation to approach this purchase, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, obviously rates are going to be important. You want to figure out what type of, how to get them into the best rates. A big topic of conversation for people that I'm talking to, a lot of people will try to put as little money down as possible, trying to put down 20%, for example, on say a 4 unit. And if you're a first-time investor, there's not very, very few products are going to be out there to let you put down 20% as opposed to putting down 25%. So, figure out what's the right, combination of down payment, debt service coverage ratio percentage, prepayment penalty, just going through all the different things and showing options and knowing what it all means, because the numbers are numbers until you make sense of what the numbers mean. But yeah, I mean, I've seen rates in the upper sixes, low sevens, mid sevens, depending on credit scores. So yeah.
There's a lot of people that are agreeing with the reading of books. Is audiobooks the same as reading? Would you say there's a difference?
Audiobooks are legit. I don't
Okay.
have a problem with audiobooks.
Okay.
I do think that you don't glean quite as much from them, but if it's between audiobook or nothing at all, I think audiobook for sure is great.
So Lynn, I read her question too quickly because Lynn has this thing against shopping at Costco, but we won't get into that. But she says, do you guys believe in spending money on money coaches?
Money coaches? I don't know about money coaches. I feel like that's pretty broad and big. I do feel like mentorship is valuable though. Like for sure there are mentorship programs that are really valuable, and I don't know if they're as necessary as there's a lot of people that just will spend money on the mentorships, but then never really do anything with it. So it also depends on if you're going to actually take that mentorship and put it into action and use it. So, and how much you're spending, and how legit the mentor is. And so, yeah, you got to do your research, but if you have a great mentor, it can be life-changing.
Joe, what about you? If people
Yeah.
come to you for a loan, do you recommend sending them to money coaches? If not, to help with their finances?
Oh, to help with finances?
Well, I mean, just to educate them. Maybe they come to you and they want to buy a home, and then you look at their finances and like, oh, it's a mess, right? Would you recommend them to see a money coach or pay for a money coach to kind of?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Now, go pay money to learn a skill, whether it be, hey, learn how to do YouTube faceless content, or learn how to run ads, or learn how to get into real estate investing and wholesaling. Learn a skill, yes. And the person that you're buying from, have they done it before? Have they been a rock star in their field and now they are just giving back or having this platform on top of what they're already doing? The people that did it before and that aren't doing it anymore, like if you're selling services, you're probably gonna make more money doing the thing that we're talking about as opposed to coaching people. So I don't know. I'm a little hesitant depending on who it is and if they're still in the game or not.
Mm-hmm.
Very true. Jovi says, yeah, doesn't Zuber say 15 minutes a day puts you in the top 10% of something?
Mm-hmm.
Shane has a very nice comment for Lauren. Flavio says, Joe, on your new program, are you helping people to develop a new skill?
That's a great question. So because this is pretty much a free platform, the program is built to help somebody build the habit of what they want to be able to learn. So you're going to come into this, I want to build an income stream. There'll be, an outline of some different paths, but the skilled learning part of it, that's going to be on you to figure it out, whether it be YouTube, Google, ChatGPT. This is basically a free course, so there's not going to be that type of support. So it's going to be habit building.
And Flavio asked Lauren, what books do you recommend?
I love Never Split the Difference, Chris Voss. That's a great negotiating book. What else? I mean, I'm always reading habit books, things to like change your daily habits. But honestly, anything. When I went to Japan, I read this really cute book that was like a coming of age story written by a Japanese author, which I thought had great lessons in it. That just remind you of like coming of age and like, oh yeah, these are really beautiful. So I think that any books, depending on where you're at and what you want to learn.
Mike says the Bible. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Flavio says, yeah, people need to pay to feel that they are getting value. Yeah, I think that's what it is sometimes, right? Some people associate how much they're paying for something as, okay, this must be worth it, right?
Yeah.
And okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, this is a good episode. Like I said, I'm gonna have shoulder surgery today. I am gonna be here tomorrow live streaming with Liam, who's an investor agent in Pittsburgh, and Carlos the handyman from Fresno is gonna make his first appearance on the live stream. He beat cancer. He's one of Zuber's handyman in Fresno, but he's also a flipper, home flipper, and his son has his own business. I think he started at 12 years old, but go check out Luke. Luke makes custom shoes. So he made Zuber's ORAT custom shoes last year, and he makes shoes for a lot of rappers and entertainers. But tomorrow I'm going to actually test out. I'm going to see how loud it is. So I don't know if it's going to work. I'm actually going to test out the ice compression machine that they gave me. So I'm supposed to use it like twice a day for like 80 minutes. I'm going to see if I can wear that while I'm live streaming, because I'm like, yeah, if I'm going to be sitting down for 80 minutes, I might as well. So we'll see how loud it is. I'm going to test that out. Hey, Josh is tuning in. Josh, yeah, it should be all right. Um, Jovi being Jovi. Yeah. Anything else you got? Anything else you want to talk about? Wrap it up with. I know, Lauren. Where are you traveling to next? And Lauren, are you just wherever? Like I said, you're like the butterfly in the wind, just wherever it takes you.
The next fun thing that I'm doing is I'm doing a 6-day river rafting trip here on the Middle Fork River, which is one of the most beautiful, pristine rivers in the nation. And it's 6 days, there's no service, and you raft to your campsite each night. And there's hot springs, there's waterfalls, you're swimming in the river, and we're going with a group of 25 friends. And every group is responsible for dinner one night. So you make dinner one night for everybody, and then they take care of it. It passes on. So it's going to be really fun. I'm really excited about that.
And I think I don't know, Zuber hasn't touched on it recently, but he talks about how Dion talks about it. So Dion Financial Talk, he talks about, like, he likes to take these trips. He goes to Thailand and whatnot, he travels, and then he comes back and there's like more money in his bank account, right? Because he's not spending it, or he is spending money, but it's the exchange rate and whatnot. So his rentals are generating all this income, and he travels, but yet when he comes back, it's like, I have more money in my account than when I left, right? So is that kind of like you're saying that all this rental side is paying for your travels and whatnot?
It is. Yep.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. Yeah, like I said, we live vicariously through Lauren, and just wherever it takes her. Like I didn't even know you. Like, you're in Japan at the same time, and we were like different areas, but I didn't know you were in Japan at the time.
I know.
Chris Webb says 25. I'm lucky if I have one other than my wife. I don't know if you guys remember Chris. Chris, it's been a while since. Well, he was on last week, but it's been a while since he's been on before that. But Flavio, make sure to be specific to what you're going for. I don't want to see you out with. Yeah.
So one thing I'll throw at you, maybe for a different time, is there's talk about getting rid of income tax for people that are below $200,000 of income. What that's going to do to the economy, what that's going to do to people like us to invest. What are your thoughts on that?
My quick thoughts is, it'll be good. I mean, for the most part, but they'll probably get you somewhere else, right? I mean, they're gonna collect their taxes some way, right? So, it's a great talking point, and I think for me, my short answer would be, it's great in that hopefully it allows you, the individual, to have more money to invest on their own. And yeah, they might tax you in some other ways, but at least this allows the individual to have more control of the money that they're making, and say, I want to allocate it this way or whatnot, instead of just the government just taking up front this certain amount of money from you, right? So yeah, you'll probably get taxed somewhere else But I think at least this way, and it could be like a consumer type tax where it might not affect you as much because you're not buying something else, right? So hopefully that's how it might play out, right? Where they're gonna not have this income tax, they might have some sort of consumer tax. But like if you're not buying those specific goods or whatnot, it might not impact you, right? But now your income is higher because you're not getting this income tax, right? I do want to dig in later. I got to look into it. So that whatever I think what is that Bitcoin or the stable coins that um, policy that Trump administration passed, right? So I got to dig into that a lot more.
Yeah.
What is it? The Genius Act, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. And like the big talk about XRP becoming part of that stable coin infrastructure, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. So Lauren Troy asked, "What river is that, Lauren?"
It's the Salmon River, the middle fork of the Salmon River. It's gorgeous.
I don't know. Yeah, I was talking about the weird foods I ate, but Lauren, you didn't really try any of those. You said, right?
No, I did not. Wasn't trying
God,
horse tongue.
live a little, man. Come on.
I want to live. That's why I didn't eat it.
All right. Well, yeah, I can't wait to hear more about the boutique hotel. So like, I mean, so is there any? So what are you working on now then for this whole year? Yeah. Like, so what is the plans now? You're still trying to design it?
Yeah, I'll be working on the design and working with the city to get it approved. It's like on Main Street, so even I want to paint the outside of the building. I'm waiting for approval on the colors that I chose. So it's everything's a bit slower because it's within that like core city block. So I'll have to get approved on the boutique hotel. They might have me add sidewalk with parking spaces and all of that. So we'll see what I have to do in order to do it. Yeah.
Interesting. So, but I think you touched on it before, but that was the vision from the beginning, right? So even when you were looking at it, the vision was already to convert it to a 10-unit boutique hotel, right?
Yeah. And it works as a long-term rental. So if I wasn't for whatever reason able to do the boutique hotel, the property does still work as a long-term rental. So.
All right, nice. Well, always fun. Glad you were able to at least hop on. Hope your friend's okay. Hopefully they figure out their flat tire.
Yeah, it was just a stranger. It was,
a stranger. Oh, I thought it was a friend.
I was coming back. I stayed at a friend's place like over the pass, and they were coming back, and they hit a rock, and it gave him a flat tire. So he was like walking down the pass, and his wife flagged me down. It was like, my husband's down there. Will you pick him up and bring him into town? So I was like, of course. Yeah. So
nice.
Well, y'all are trusting in Idaho or wherever you are.
Yeah, actually,
I live in the murder capital of the world. So that's, I guess, is different.
That is true. That's what it's, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You're lucky I'm still here.
It's a miracle.
Troy says, yeah. Oh, I love that river. So much fun. Camped on the salmon several times. Yeah. All right, everyone. Like I said, thanks for being able to jump on last minute, or not last minute, but late, Lauren. And then Joe, I know you're busy. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for the invite.
Yeah, Stan says hotel sounds awesome. Good luck with that project. And yeah, I will get Stan on when he's not. I know he's going on a trip again, so Stan will be back on soon, and Chris. But everyone, thanks for tuning in. Like I said, I'm going to test out the air or ice compression thing tomorrow, so we'll see how loud it is. But I am going live tomorrow, same time. So hopefully, I'll see you folks tomorrow. All right. Thanks, everyone.